All right, I've already decided because Nate has no idea what I'm throwing at him. We're going to call this one mystery meat. But we've been talking about, finding good customers, target customer profiles, making sure their solutions are standardized and aligned. But you know what? That applies to our own partners, Nate. Like a lot of times, are we good partners for our vendors, for our
Mm,
suppliers, and are we loyal? Because why would we expect our vendor partners to be loyal if we're not loyal to them?
hmm
I don't know. Do you have a story that aligns with that? And I'm throwing it right at you to live to see how you feel about that.
Yeah, I feel that there's a couple sides. Well, there's many sides to that, but a few things that come to mind are one, you know, a lot of times I've been on historically on calls with multiple partners where they're with a manufacturer and then multiple partners like us, and it's nothing but like, and forgive my French, a bitch fest. Like people are just
Yeah.
complaining, whining, and it's like have some. Which look, I'm not saying that everything's got to be perfect and you can't ever be frustrated with a vendor, but like you have to have some understanding that this isn't just about you. Like it's about the ecosystem. It's about the global scale of something. Like they have way more scale to deal with than we do as individual companies. So have some compassion and understanding and work with them to identify challenges, make sure you're aware of them. But like so many times people are just, I think, completely unreasonable, and they get all bent out of shape about some little esoteric thing that really only applies to them, and they just like any voice to vent and complain about it. And so I think, like, do you like customers or clients of yours that do that? All they do is find little nitpicky things to complain about? Of course not, because you're not perfect either when you serve them. And so, and it's not like you're a perfect partner to all your vendors. And so I do think there's a way to build and keep those relationships. And for us, what's important for us, and then I have a side of like where we actually we've only done that a handful of times when we really needed to, but where like we want to be autonomous and so like I don't want to have to use the bat phone, right? Like if I want to be able to
Yes.
support our clients and I want to be able to have our team trained to support our clients, but every once in a while something really really weird happens and it's something we got to tap into the manufacturer to support us, and I don't want to be the person that's crying wolf all the time. When I pick up that bat phone because we built the relationship and we've demonstrated competency and autonomy in delivering solutions around their product, I want them to hop to it and help us. And so
Yes.
that's
If Nate calls, you better be listening
that's right.
because
That's
he
right.
only calls when it's
When I really, really
business
need something.
impacting,
Exactly
revenue
right.
impacting,
Exactly right. Exactly
product
right.
not working. Yeah,
Correct.
whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's a big deal for us. And then on the flip side, I do think giving, look, every product is built by human beings, which means that at some point they're going to have problems. We've dealt with client or vendors that are manufacturers who they got bought, and then sold. Like this, Dell bought and sold some vendors and some manufacturers. And I think that there's been times where we've gone through the bad times. Like I remember back in the day, one of our products that we worked with, their power supplies, uh, they had a propensity to melt, and so we
Whoops.
actually, yeah, oops. So we actually kept a whole bunch of those in inventory so that when the vendor just sent them to us, like we know this is a problem, we're working on it, but like here's a whole bunch of extra ones so that if this happens, you can just replace them. We don't have to like go through a procurement process and all that. So like having those relationships is important, but giving them an opportunity to fix the problem, and sometimes that's not weeks. It's sometimes not even months or quarters. Sometimes it's quarters or years.
Yes.
And at some point, though, because and this is a very important lesson that is we communicate to our vendors is like our clients don't care if the manufacturer is having a problem. If that problem impacts them, we are the ones they hold accountable. We are the ones that are going to lose the client, even though they might switch out a switch or a firewall or a wireless or something. Ultimately, it's going to be us that loses the client. So that's the message we deliver to our vendor partners, and we want to work with them. But at some point, you got to draw that line and be like, you've now given me no choice. But it's gotten so bad, or the problem hasn't been fixed in a certain amount of time, or I'm not able to deliver on my promises that I've made to my clients. We have to make a change. And so the last thought that came to mind just now is that that's one of the reasons why, in general, our product and our standards strategy, and this wasn't until we got bigger, is that we have an A and a B product in nearly every asset category. So we have an A firewall and a B firewall that we recommend. And we maintain relationships with both of them, because if A firewall has a problem, we might be able to quickly divert to B and vice versa. And we do that in switches, we do it in wireless, we do it in laptops, we do it in desktops, we do it in servers. It's because that reality just happens. And so those are some of the things that everything you just mentioned, Steve, made me think of relative to vendor relationships. So sorry, I didn't really give you much time. What are your thoughts? What have you encountered?
Well, I think you did it. Like, I think you took the mystery meat, you turned it into chicken fried steak. You thought it was chicken, ended up to be beef. Great Nate nugget.
Unplugged.